for those of you who say, I don't believe there's any evidence for God to start with. I am not one of the few percentage of people in America, according to the Gallup poll, that even that believes in God. I do not believe it. And Dr. Montgomery, I come to you, and let me start off by this. First of all, we want to get into people's minds that basically still the best demonstration of God is still to be seen in Jesus. For most of the people across the board, we ought to start there, and then let's go to the people that don't even start with the concept of God in their vocabulary.
Yes, as far as I'm concerned, the best introduction to God comes in Jesus Christ. If a person says to me, define God, I say, I'll do better than that. I'll introduce you to Him. And I take the person to Jesus Christ, because we're going to understand God the best by God's appearance right here in our own midst. We are humans, and therefore we're going to meet God the most effectively right here in the human situation. So everything we've done so far in this series relates directly to our topic tonight. The evidence for Jesus Christ, His resurrection from the dead, points us directly to God. One could not go with us as far as we've gone so far and deny God's existence. You've already met Him. You've come across Him in Jesus, risen again from the dead.
But there are some people that are philosophers that are saying we can't even meaningfully discuss the word God, because by definition God is unique, so unique that anything that we're going to say about Him doesn't really jive. It's not true.
Yes, that particular position has been presented by certain linguistic philosophers in our time, stemming from the work of the later Wittgenstein in his philosophical investigations. And the view is, in essence, that you cannot speak meaningfully about anything unique. That uniqueness eliminates any kind of rational discussion. This is expressed by the quip that used to be going around on college campuses: how will you recognize God when you get to heaven? And the answer is by the big G on His sweatshirt. See? But you see, since God is unique, you wouldn't be able to recognize Him, and who would put the G there? How could you be sure it was put on the right person? This argument is illogical. It is irrational. Why? Because it goes against our human experience. We talk about the unique all the time without any difficulty at all. Seems to me that when I was a whippersnapper, my preacher discoursed on snowflakes. Ah, he said, each little snowflake is different from each other little snowflake. I don't know how he knew this. I don't know how preachers know that each snowflake is different. But assuming that they are right, one can still talk about snowflakes. More important, think of the person sitting next to you, or think of yourself. Each human being is unique. The genetic chromosomal pattern that produced the person next to you, or that produced you, never existed before, and apparently will never exist again. So you are different in some fundamental sense from any other person who's ever lived, and from any other thing. And yet, it's perfectly possible to talk about the person next to you, or you. So the philosophers, the analytical philosophers, are simply wrong that the uniqueness of God limits the possibility of talking about Him. And let's say, for the sake of argument, and it isn't just for the sake of argument, because this is what we've been talking about in this series, let's say that that unique being came to earth and made it even easier for you. And that's exactly what happened in Jesus Christ.